Bill, reflecting on yesterday's session, the Kagan Cooperative Learning session, to say the least, for me, the session was highly impactful in terms of next steps of what we can do to really move engagement in our lessons quickly. And what resonated with me was the time element and the teaching element and the balance that teachers need to find through the structures, through the Kagan cooperative learning structures. Can you tell us a little bit more how you see that balance?
Absolutely. So historically, we've always thought about time in the classroom being the constant and learning being the variable. We get a set amount of time and how much can we learn in that set time frame. And I would encourage you to flip the script on that and really think of learning as the constant. We're going to learn this information. It's just a matter of time now being the variable. How long will it take you to learn this information? And I think the more we can get students engaged in cooperative learning and peer discussions and collaborations, we can expedite and have them pick up this the learning a lot faster, because when we use Kagan cooperative learning structures, we frame student collaboration and interaction and make it to where participation becomes now an expectation, not an invitation.
Yes.
And we do that through the cooperative learning principles we discussed in that workshop.
Fantastic. So that collaboration then becomes more of a structured way of cooperative learning, where the students are fully engaged and then share their learning in a meaningful, impactful way.
Absolutely.
Correct.
And we really ensure cooperation and participation for all, because historically also in education, when we think of cooperative learning, oftentimes it will take on the form of a teacher saying, turn and talk to your partner, or talk in your groups. And we know that if we were to say, hey, just turn and talk to your partner, there's a high probability that one student will do considerably more talking than the other. And oftentimes the one who talks the most, if we're being honest with ourselves, is the one who probably needs it the least. And our students who need to talk the most and engage and process the most end up doing the least when we just say turn and talk. So what we do at Kagan Cooperative Learning is we structure the interaction so that it ensures equal participation from both students, or all four students if we're doing a team activity. It promotes and ensures, instead of hoping for it, ensures individual accountability. Everybody is now engaged in the lesson, and we're not just hoping for it, we're ensuring it. The additional principles, besides individual accountability and equal participation, the other two principles include a positive interdependence. So rather than a situation in the classroom where when we do the traditional method of the teacher raising or calls on the students one at a time, the students raise their hand. In the traditional classroom, if I want to raise my hand, I want to participate, and the teacher calls on someone else, I'm now rooting for that student to fail. I want you to make a mistake so that I get another chance to show that I knew the answer. Well, we were getting away from that and creating a situation, an environment, a community in the classroom where I'm now hoping for your success, because when you share your ideas, it gives me more ideas. It confirms that the accuracy of my answer if I'm looking for a correct answer. So you have a positive interdependence. And the fourth principle of cooperative learning at Kagan is simultaneous interaction. When we call on one student at a time, we only have one student in the class in that moment overtly engaged, which in a classroom of 30 students, that means we have about just over 3% of our students who are overtly engaged at once. The other 97% are hopefully passively listening. Well, very little brain activity goes on when we're passively listening. But when we're collaborating together, there's lots of brain activity. When we do a simple timed pair share, we're activating Broca's area, Wernicke's area, prefrontal cortex, the visual cortex. There's so much brain activity that occurs in a simple structure, and we can ensure every student gets that full brain experience, because that's going to lead to, again, more rapid acquisition of the content.
And I'm especially intrigued by the research behind the cooperative learning, that this is really something that addresses so many aspects of teaching that it, if implemented with fidelity, like you emphasized during the session yesterday, if it's implemented with fidelity, then we can ensure that those social interactions are taken to the next level where students feel comfortable to share their learning, and the collaboration becomes meaningful cooperative learning then, which is really fantastic. So we have Dr. Spencer Kagan tomorrow, and he will be online with me in a session that I will be moderating. And we will learn a little bit more about specifically the call on one strategy, and he will be elaborating on that. Can you give us a little bit of a taster to what is to come for that session?
Absolutely. So in the session, we really, as I was mentioning before, we encourage educators, encourage teachers to resist that urge to call on one student at a time. And use that whenever you see a student raise their hand, use that as a reminder to yourself. When you see hands go up, say, no, put your hands down. That's where you want to use the structure. And instead of calling on one and engaging one at a time, we're going to call on everyone and engage everyone. And as a teacher, we become the facilitator, and we walk around the room to monitor, to see, is every student on task? Are they understanding the material?
Fantastic. So we will be talking a little bit more about those structures that's specifically designed to address and to address that basic problem of focusing on one rather than all the students in your class. Great.
Absolutely. And he'll be talking about five structures you can do in the moment during your lecture to help them understand that.
Fantastic. Well, we're really looking forward to that session. Bill Stater, what a brilliant session yesterday.
Thank you.
And more to come with insightful conversations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well. And thank you to everybody. It's been such a great experience here in the UAE and in Sharjah.
Thank you.
Thank you.